I lost my ID. I was traveling this weekend, but here's my credit card.
In Long Beach, California, Cal State University professor Stephen Osuna has accidentally locked himself out of his building.
Do you have a campus actual?
I don't. I lost it. But here's my...
Okay.
But if we go inside my office, my door's open. Just the front, the office door is, the hallway's locked, but my office is open right now. If we go in there,
do you have a...
I can give you my ID number.
Do you have a... Did you call your dean?
Oh, my dean, no. My dean's left. He's not here.
Okay. I would give call because here's the thing. So I can't unlock it without any photo ID.
I cannot unlock it without photo ID, says the officer.
I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything.
Yeah.
But technically, before we get called, it has to go to the dean first. You have to come respond.
My cell phone's in there. I don't have anything.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately,
you wouldn't be unlocking my door. You'd be locking the hallway.
Do you have any form of photo ID in there?
I don't. In there, I have pictures of myself and my family. You can see that. I promise you'll see that. I promise you that. You'll see it in there, dude. I promise you. You'll see my pictures of me and my kids and my wife in there.
Dr. Osuna, with his friendly demeanor and smiles, explains he is not asking the officer for much.
Just look, you just gotta open up the hallway. My door's unlocked. I just forgot my keys when I used the restroom. My car's parked right here. This is my car, my Honda Accord. I'm here. I promise you, I'm not lying. Just open the door. I'll show you.
Any other form of...
I don't. I was traveling to Jersey and I lost my ID. I'm sorry.
Okay, and your photos are in there?
Yeah, but everything's in there. I promise you. You'll see everything in there. I'm not bullshitting now. I know this looks weird. Like I've got no IDs, but I promise you, once you're in there, you'll see my stuff in there.
The professor and the police officer head towards the sociology department entrance down the steps.
Which one is it? Okay. Do you have your dean's phone number?
What's up?
Your dean's phone number?
No, I don't.
Instead of just opening that one door, the officer decides to call for guidance.
Yeah,
okay, let me clear this with my supervisor first, okay?
Yeah.
Moments later,
he says he's a staff member, locked his shit in the office, no ID, no nothing. He says he has photos. Yeah, photos of himself in the office. No?
The supervisor says no, and adds that university protocol requires faculty to identify themselves with ID if they are locked out.
I'll let him know. Yeah, he said, he doesn't have any photo ID or campus ID or nothing. He says like all his shit's in there. So I talked to my supervisor and he said no go, unfortunately. So.
How am I supposed to get in there? I don't have anything in here.
Are you?
Yeah, my door's unlocked. My office.
I totally get it. I explained to him the circumstances, but unfortunately he won't let me go in there.
So how do I do what I do?
Do you have any way to contact anybody? Call a phone, your dean, or you have to get in that car. Your car's here. Get to a phone. Yeah. Like I said, man, as much as I'd like to help, I talked to my supervisor and he said no go with no staff ID and anything. So, yeah.
And Lou?
Yeah, Officer Lou.
I'm sure if I was a white professor, you'd be fucking
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sure you are. I'm sure that's the case. If I was a white professor, you'd be fine with this. And you want to smirk about it, but it's true. You wouldn't have no problem opening the door for a white professor.
I'm sorry. I literally called trying to help.
That's true, man. That's the part. That I'm a professor. I'm in there. I locked the door accidentally. I went to use the restroom. You guys can't open the door for me.
I called. Like I said, I called.
You called your supervisor. That's the part, man. But all right.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry about that. Take care.
Dr. Osuna, a tenured professor who has been with the university for 7 years, says that he was racially profiled. Many of his colleagues agree, noting that several white faculty facing a similar situation in the past few years have been let in. 130 professors at Cal State have now signed a letter to the university that reads in part, police encounters with faculty of color routinely begin with assumptions of suspicion and criminality on the part of officers due to pervasive forms of implicit bias and structural racism rather than from positions of collegiality, aid, and collaboration. The university says it has now apologized to Dr. Osuna and seeks to advance an environment of greater understanding, mutual respect, and sound campus safety procedures. But the university added the officer at the incident was following a policy in place, and we do not believe the officer acted inappropriately. The police, of course, agree and say Dr. Asuna could have been a suspended employee or somebody with a grudge intending to do harm. He was not. Still, in recent days, the police union filed a complaint against the professor with the Cal State Board of Trustees, accusing Dr. Asuna of dishonesty. Leave it to a police union to make tensions even worse. Let's be clear. There are several ways the campus police could have verified the professor's identity. Furthermore, police exist to protect and to serve. In a fraction of the amount of time it took to call a supervisor, the officer could have opened the entrance, looked into the professor's office, and confirmed he was who he said he was. Instead, for whatever reason, the officer hesitated and called a supervisor who went with a policy. Well, sometimes, for the sake of humanity, it's better to seek forgiveness later than ask for permission at the start. This is one of those cases. Does any police officer really want to be known for strict adherence to policies instead of doing a good deed and helping somebody? And by the way, that help is all too often denied to minorities and people of color. It is clearly a lingering police problem across the United States, including at Cal State University in Long Beach. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.